Hello there, and yet again, it's time. So after they commented on my last video, comment on screen, I decided I'd just try once more and put a comment in to see if they do another Gastradon, and sadly they did not. So here I am again, but this time with a whole total of 11 new Paradoxmon. Let's get into it. So if this is the first thing in your video, do not watch this, skip to the timestamp on screen, because this is actually not that good of a design in my personal opinion. You can still watch this part, I'm not going to judge you, it's not the best, it looks a bit less Pokemon-y. But for this Gastradon, I wanted him to be based off the primordial soup, which is basically a bunch of organisms inside a bunch of water, and that's what I kind of wanted to base it off, but I didn't really have an idea unlike the rest of them, so I kind of went based off what I felt like should be there, which in retrospect didn't turn out that well. You'll see in the finished product. You can even see now it's just Gastradon with a bunch of little shoots inside. Honestly, I might as well call these Gastradonios or something. I don't know. He also got horns to make him look a bit scary. Oh, that's really intimidating. But then I coloured it all in and made it look even more like a mess. A primordial mess, honestly. Yeah, it's not the best in my personal opinion. The better ones are actually towards the end of the video, but we start off with like the past one, then we go to the future one, and in the middle, there you go. I put a smiley face in. Don't know, ask me why. In the middle is the Tapu Pokemon. You can skip to around the middle of the video to see that. There's me coming up with the name. It's actually quite hard to think of a name because it's like, never mind. Just get into the Pokedex and I'll explain later. Sticky Sludge, the poison water type Pokemon. This Pokemon is commonly referenced as the earliest known life form in the entire Pokemon world. Paradox Duraladon, based off a Viking longship and basically a Viking architecture. But I wanted to get back to telling you about how I named these Pokemon, because it's a really hard naming scheme. I think it's noun verb, I think, like walking wake. No, it's verb noun. No. Adjective noun, or verb noun, up to you. But it's really hard to get right. Talking really hard to get right, I tried to make the sail of the ship actually the cloak that's going around this Pokemon's back. I'm gonna save its name for a surprise, mostly because I can't remember it right now. And then I added like wooden stripes along it so it looked a bit more carved. And that's about it. I also added some Viking shields, like you can see on the side of the Viking thing. And in the corner, you can see the original commenter. And I'll probably tag them in the description if I remember to. Hopefully I do. Hopefully you're seeing this original commenter. And then, yeah, I came up with Wooden Warrior. Wooden being a adjective of the word warrior. Pokedex. Wooden Warrior, the grass fighting type. In ancient legend, it is said this warrior was able to spread throughout most of Galar using its fierce fighting combat, usually, however, being a bit underhanded. This idea I absolutely love, which is Wooloo as a Glyptodon. If you don't know what a Glyptodon is, it's like a ancient armadillo type thing, and I thought it was a really good idea. Don't know if my execution of the concept went as well as I thought it would be, but let's just think about the concept for a bit. Like Wooloo, but with like a really tough thing on its back. And I did basically exactly that. I didn't even give it horns. I made it Wooloo. Not big Wooloo. Of forgot the name of the other Wooloo. I didn't make Big Wooloo, I made Wooloo. And then I tried to texture it for once, which is a really, really unusual sight for me. If you've watched these videos before, I don't texture things, and I don't know if it came out that well. But then here I think of the name, which takes a while, and then I decide to do more shading before thinking of the name, or while thinking of the name. And I come up with the name, Scary Shells. No, Scary Sheep. This one actually took forever to think of, because I can think of an adjective or verb to describe a noun that didn't sound a bit cute, which I didn't want this Pokemon to come off as. And I think I ended up landing on this one, which is Shaky Steps. Anyway, Pokedex. Shaky Steps, the normal dragon type. Shaky Steps is usually known as the protector of ancient Galar, usually fighting off much larger predators and even causing the extinct of entire species. This one was a hard one. This is the reason this video took so long. Like, I left a comment on the video saying it'll be out by January 15th. Now I'm recording this, it's January 14th, so I have like 1 day to edit all of this up. Don't worry though, I'll live. I'll be fine. I'll not crumble into a pile of ash like this Kanghastan. And this Kanghastan is based off the grandfather paradox. If you killed your own grandfather, then you wouldn't be born, etc, etc. I made it a past paradox. I actually tried to make it a blend of the two. Didn't go together quite as well as I thought, and it doesn't really make sense design wise. Why would, like, it's a really hard design to pull off. But I tried my best. I kind of made him just turning into dust as he's being uncreated. Pokedex time. Pokedex time. Prowling Paradox, the normal ghost type. This Pokemon disappears and reappears, and is even theorised to not even be from a time before ours at all. Sun and Moon, my home games, Tapu Lele and Tapu Koko. My first two games, that's what I mean. I tried to make it like a kind of finalised form, you know? I was kind of arms look a bit like a rooster. So I tried to make him look like, what would he look like to those ancient people? What form would he appear to? What form would he wish to appear to? I tried. I think the future forms are way better than this one. This one in particular took me the struggles. Took me in and out the struggles, man. One was wings. I didn't know whether to give it wings or not. 2 was the body, because it didn't make sense to me. It didn't look right. I should have just went with it. 3, I don't know how to incorporate war into it, because apparently this is based off the Hawaiian god of war. Didn't even know that. Didn't it? You know? The Maori god of war even. And I still gave him his patterns. I think I tried to make it look wooden again. Can't remember. Hope I did. That would be really embarrassing if I didn't. And I then made his bottom half look like an absolute carrot, like an actual carrot. Then gave it red on the end. Then I just moved on to Tapu Lele, because that would be a completely separate problem. And I found out she's actually based off a squid. Like, I know, right? So, if you look at it, it kind of looks like the squid, how it's kind of a circle with a cone on top. So I tried to make that, then tried to mix in the healing element somehow. Didn't work correctly, but I tried. Just give me credit here, I did try. I gave the legs, and I added a hole for the eye, which kind of bang it all together. Added wood texture to that one, and I did it to the other one as well. Good. Pokedex time. Feathered Fury, fighting flying, and Tending Tentacle, fairy water. Both these Pokemon seem to guard their respective home region, often appearing to people who are either in deep fits of rage or need help. Did you know only around like a little % of my viewers actually make it to this part in the video? And if you made it here, I want you to prove that by commenting in the comments a little, what emoji shall we go with? a mountain emoji. You know, the ones in the little photograph things. If you have that, if not, just do like a 100 underline emoji, do that. Anyway, back to Paradox. This is the first Futuremon, and it's 2 Tapus, the Tapus that I chose to be the future ones. I chose 2 Tapus to be the past, 2 Tapus to be the future. Chose the wrong 2. Should have swapped them around, let's be honest. But these designs were pretty clean. Should have put them at the start of the video so people would have had the retention span of not an absolute goldfish. This will be the part where I timestamp in post-processing. Anyway, Tapu Bulu was supposed to be kind of like a guard dog type thing. And then I was like, okay, it's a guard. So what else would I do for Tapu Melly? I think it's called Tapu Melly. I want to say it's Tapu Melly. What would I do for Tapu Melly? Well, if one's like a bouncer, like kind of protection guard, like protecting, like guarding you, then the other one would also be a guard, but like a protection shield, if you get what I mean. Makes complete sense. And it looks a bit like a shield to me. So that's what I did. And then I debated about giving it arms. I did not give Tapu Melly or future Tapu Melly any arms. Thought it would be way too odd in my personal. I think I gave it like wires though in there. Yeah, I did. Then I gave it them names, Iron Protector and Iron Guardian. Oh, 2 really good names in my opinion. Pokédex time. Iron Guardian, Electric Fighting, and Iron Protector, Psychic Steel. These 2 Pokemon roam heavily crowded or very crime-stricken areas and try to protect innocent people. I have an amazing Paradox idea, right? Graffiti Smeargle. It's not a painter, because it's in the future. I'm just joking. Please don't make fun of me. Or don't make fun of the person who came up with this idea. It's a good idea. That's why I used it in my video instead of like Stack Attacker future form based off Lego bricks. Like that isn't a good concept. Don't provide bad concepts. Like if it doesn't change much from the original design, it's not a good future concept form. Just letting you know. I tried to make it look good. I really tried. If it looked good, it's highly subjective, but I tried. It's really hard to put a graffiti can on a Smeargle's tail. And I looked at Gastradon Paradox for a bit, and then I looked at Paradox Smeargle. Then I got the plan to put the spray can in his hat. And I'm not saying it was copying, because it's kind of different, because he's floating and he's got orange highlights. That's different enough, right? And then I gave him the cool lava bubbles. I like doing the lava bubbles. I do more Paradox if I just got to draw the more lava bubbles. And then I coloured him in, put him the spray can in, and I did some more hibbledy-jibbledy bits before deciding, yeah, it's time to move on to Pokédex. It's Pokédex time. It's Pokédex time. Come on, let's go. Iron Beret, Poison Electric or Electric Dark. This Pokemon likes to roam the streets at night and leave their mark in their own territory. Ambipom is a menace to society. And look at that face. If that isn't a face of a weird guy who would follow you down an alleyway, I don't know the face of a weird guy who would follow you down the alleyway. That nose even looks a bit like a really bad moustache that someone would have. Anyway, besides Ambipom looking like an absolute freak of nature, let's talk about Pokemon design, because it's pretty hard. Because you don't just slap a few things together, you need to think of how they connect. Apparently, I didn't think about that when I was designing Ambipom. Don't worry, it actually is a good design for once. But, yeah. You know, that's how I feel about a lot of things. Yeah. I made him floating because the original idea was to have his hand things a bit like helicopters, but I didn't really like that, so I made his hair, the tufts of hair, a helicopter. Like, I think I made him like the delivery Pokemon. I can't remember now. I think, or it's like Metal Man hand or something. I can't really remember right now. I painted him like a robot, and I gave him the cool hand things. I really like doing the bubbles, like the ones with the bubbles in. This is where I came up with the name. Put Iron first, like in most future forms. Iron things, Iron Valiant, Iron Treads, Tusky Tread. I'll think about it, then I'll go back to it. Pokedex time. Iron Tails, the Steel Normal type. This Pokemon is the delivery Pokemon. It would fly around the region with packages in its hand, assisting Iron Bundles in delivering to local areas. The grand finale is a Mimikyu. I know you guys are quite tired of hearing me speak. I know. I do this though, out of the kindness of my heart, so you don't have to just listen to radio silence for how long? 17-ish minutes. The concept for this one, Mimikyu, but if it was like in a secure containment robot. So the little cap is kind of where it would be contained inside like a jar under the cloth or metallic cloth, whatever that is. And then the head would just be added on so the Mimikyu didn't thrash out in there. Just so it looks a bit like Pikachu still. Anything I would like to say about it, potentially? It's probably one of my favourites that I designed in this video. Pokedex time. Iron Sheets, the Steel Ghost type. This Pokemon is often found wandering the halls of prison. Apparently, it's to keep the prisoners in line, but some people don't believe this. Few last things to say before the video ends. Sorry about the map pack video, unless you liked it, then no sorry. I'm just saying, it was just a break from my regular stuff, because I wanted to see, just wanted to experiment, dip my toes in the water, you know. I don't know if it's actually doing that well, I haven't checked in like 2 days. Second thing, subscribe to Fakemon if you haven't. She's the main inspiration for me doing this stuff still. But apart from that, see ya.